everybody. Getting frame here. All right. So thank you for joining us this week. This is Charles of Ravorisports and owner of Ravens-Falcons Preview. And we are thanking you for joining us here on our weekly live stream. So thank everybody out there for watching. Happy holidays to everybody. So this is the week of Christmas. Happy Hanukkah for those of you out there. Happy Kwanzaa also for those of you out there. So thanking you for joining us today. Let's go ahead and get our business started. As so, usually we start with all of our business at the bottom of the screen. Yes, our graphics, it looks like they're going to work this week. So we got that taken care of. It's at the bottom of the screen there, ravorisports@gmail.com. Next week, during the stream, we'll have a date for when the site is going up. So it'll be a big day, in particular, for a lot of reasons. So the site is going to go up exactly when we're going to start going on the site. Next week, we're going to go ahead and make that announcement. Genesis Notary Services at facebook.com. Notary Services. So if you are in the Shenandoah Valley area and you are looking for notary services, we will come out and go ahead and do it for you. And our notaries business for you will come and go ahead and get it taken care of for you. Notary services with care. You can book the information right on the website, Genesis Notary Services /Facebook.com. Okay, so absolutely. All right, and again, let me be the first. If nobody's wished you Merry Christmas, and be the first to wish you Happy Kwanzaa, first wish you Happy Hanukkah. Everybody's celebrating the holiday season. Be thankful for, I always tell my kids this as well, be thankful for at least one thing. Be thankful for something. Rough time of year for some people as well. I understand that, but be thankful for something. All right. I know what I'm thankful for. Football. So let's get to it. The business of football. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Just said the graphics weren't working. And make sure we got the graphics going. There we go. Now we have graphics working. After I said all that, then the graphics started working. So now we have graphics. Because we want to see what happened with this ugly Ravens game we had this week. Okay, so there we go. So 13-3 was the final. Ravens were on the wrong side of the 13-3 final. Browns won this game on Saturday. This was a lot of old school football. Fans were upset about this one. I'm going to go ahead and address some of those topics as well as much as the game. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and address that. Let's go to the game. Tyler Huntley. Everybody now can officially stop saying that Lamar and Tyler are the same. I saw that forever. I haven't seen it this week now. Stop saying that. No disrespect to Tyler. Tyler's a decent backup. He's a backup quarterback. He's not a team. He's not a guy you can build your team around. And you know, well, we pay Tyler Huntley half the. No, it's not going to work. This guy is not Lamar Jackson. He has somewhat of a similar skill set in the sense that they run a lot, and they're probably best in that run in this offense, which is why he's here. I think he can get you through a game. He won like the game in Pittsburgh, a low scoring game, but he's not. Just stop saying that. he certainly can overcome their problems on offense. So 17-30, 138. He doesn't throw the ball downfield. I see that with him a lot. He's a good decision maker, despite the one pick. He really doesn't make silly mistakes, and I think any coach likes that. He's got a good head on his shoulders. But whenever even the one pick, when he tries to force something in or make something, he's just not. He just doesn't. He's just not at that level. He really needs to improve his throwing. I think there's potential there, but he's certainly not at that level. Here's the good news. A lot of doom and gloom this week. People are talking about the Ravens like they were 4-12 or something like that. Now they're 9-5. Just relax. Here's why. Look, JK's been fantastic. 13 carries, 125. Rushing, Gus Edwards, 7 carries, 55. This guy's fantastic. Had you had this all year, you see a much different result. Ravens, I think, are second in the league in rushing offense, despite not having anything near a 1,000-yard rusher, real bell count. JK, you have him looking like this in the playoffs down the stretch, and most likely you are going to the playoffs. You're going to have a great way to go forward with the run game. I thought the line also has been great all year. Ronnie Stanley is a difference maker when he's in there. Linderbaum is getting better and better. The right side, just two solid vets, Kevin Zeitler and Morgan Moses. Hardly ever have anything bad. Zeitler, Morgan Moses is a big upgrade over Villanueva. I think it's Villanueva from last year. So, hey, good job. Bottom line here. Their top receiver, no surprise, is Mark Andrews. 3 receptions, 31 yards. His numbers are way down since he's been back. 2 things are happening for sure. They're triple teaming him more. I mean, and they were anyway. But really, with the lack of wide receiver production, it's worse. He doesn't look right. I don't know what it is. He looks to step off. Now, he doesn't have Lamar in there as well, which I think matters some. But he really just looks to step off. I don't know if he's fully recovered from the injury, playing hurt. He's not going to say that. They're not going to say that. That's the way it looks as well. You're getting nothing from these receivers. you're getting nothing from these receivers. Harbaugh had the nerve to actually call out the receivers during the presser. I did the one video on Facebook Saturday after the game because I had to actually run out of town real quick. And when I got back and I got back, I did the YouTube video. He had the nerve to call out the receiver. Are you kidding? You should have addressed that in the offseason. This week, I think they signed Sammy Watkins, who was released by Green. I mean, you want a backup quarterback to be productive with this group, like, or even Lamar for that matter. Lamar, even, but come on, guys. Like, I don't know what he expected to happen. For him to be complaining about it, it's miss me. miss me with that one. Not that he's even wrong about it, but it's like you could have prevented that. All right, Kyle Hamilton getting better and better. But 1 sack, 7 tackles. He's been sensational down the stretch. I think he's the top-rated safety by Pro Football Focus as far as safeties go. He's getting better and better. It'll be interesting to see what happens next season with him and Chuck Clark, who's been really good. Their safety group is as good as any in the NFL. So it's absolutely true with their safeties have been very, very good. Their safety group is really good. So I think Kyle Hamilton's getting better and better. Look, on the field in this game, Ravens were good in several areas, just not the passing game. Deshaun still getting his sea legs. 18 for 28, 161. He looked a little bit more. He still looks, when I see him the last few weeks, he still looks like a guy who hasn't played much. He's still rusty. He's still trying to get his legs together, get everything together. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's still working on his accuracy. Still work. He looks timely, looks a little bit off. I don't know how much he's working live around with receivers. But Deshaun is going to be a force in this division in the next couple of years. Nick Chubb, I don't know if you want to call those numbers contained, but it's not the worst that could have happened there. 21 carry, 99 yards. Kept them under 100 yards, just barely. I thought that runs, it was a little leakier, but I thought it was okay. I think that's about, if I was to give it a grade, I'd say a C. Which is not, that's what you want to do with Cleveland, though. You don't want them to go crazy on the ground because they can, with their excellent group of backs there, it could have been 250 or two. I mean, they frequently do that. So, good day. Decent enough day. I think like to hold it back as good as him. I don't think I'm too discouraged. As strong as him, rather. I'm not too discouraged by that effort. Amari Cooper, underrated, I think, as a receiver. Not in the elite category, but this is kind of where it is. 458. Not a great day for the quarterback. He's had a decent season considering the quarterbacking they've had in Cleveland. You got Deshaun now back, not fully, still rusty. I guess that's the way you could put it. And Jacoby Brissett's been in there. He should be at 1,000 yards again. And Amari Cooper does that a lot. Just crank out these 1,000-yard seasons. So he's been a good addition for them. Cleveland's defense was really good. Myles Garrett, question whether he was going to be in the lineup. He had a sack and a half. He is, I think, they're by far the best defensive player. Jadeveon Clowney was in and out of the lineup. I think he was hurt in the game. I think this is the guy that really makes it all go for them. They really had trouble containing him. They had to put together, really good defense by Cleveland in this one. They only scored 3 points. Ravens offensively deficient in the pass game. This is our fear for a long time. They're not getting the personnel on the wide receivers. Looks like Devin Duvernay was hurt as well. He's going to be on IR. So it's going to be a challenge to get the points. I think with Lamar coming back in this game, I'm thinking it will be Lamar. He will get more out of it than what we've been getting. I think I've heard a lot of people say it would have been the same with Lamar. No, it would have been more production. I think would definitely with Lamar Jackson. I do think there are issues. I don't think you go from 3 points to 30 points with Lamar, but you'll get more than this what you've been getting. Let's go. So Ravens lose to the Browns. Worst probably performance of the year for the Ravens in this one. So we'll go to this game. So we'll preview the Ravens and the Falcons in this one. So the Falcons are 5-9. Believe it or not, even with that record, they are still in it. They're 1 game behind Tampa Bay. It's in first place, who is 6-8, and they're going to play 1 o'clock Christmas Eve. This is Saturday again. So you see it at the end of the college season. You see games on Saturday. Keep that in mind. Christmas Eve, I know a lot of people will be home that day or working or just finishing that Christmas shopping around the time. So definitely check it out, 1 o'clock on Saturday. All right. And let's take a look here. Desmond Ridder. This is the quarterback. So the Falcons went ahead. Marcus Mariota, I don't know exactly what happened. Apparently he was sent to the bench and then he went home. I think in part they just wanted to see the young quarterback. Even though they're in it, I don't know for the long term. They want to see it, get a sample size of the young quarterback. That's my assumption that's what they're doing, and at least in part. He hasn't looked good so far. This is like a middle round pick, but I do understand that. I mean, I don't think there's. I mean, you're already 5-9. You've already had a lose, so why not take a look? They still might get into playoffs, but going forward, why not take a look at the young quarterback? See if you can. You may not get with this record. You may not get one of the quarterbacks in the draft, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, or whatever. So why not take a look at Desmond Ridder and see what he can do? And going forward, Tyler Algier has been outstanding. Middle round running back, had another 100-yard game last week. This is probably their most explosive offensive player. He's been really good. Now he's going to be facing a very good Ravens run defense, but I think this is going to be the focal point. Especially, I don't know how much yards they're going to get passing because they're starting a young quarterback. So definitely this is going to be their emphasis in their game plan and what they are planning to do. Drake London, in the draft. So again, another good draft pick they had, first round pick, having a good season for them. He's really expanding his game. Careful though, because like I said, RZA not very good in the first game. So let's see if he can get some improvement and use a quarterback like this. When Mariota was in there, he just seemed like he was getting a ceiling. Really fast receiver, Drake London. A lot of strength, a lot of overall ability he has. Be interesting too. Probably no Marcus Peters in this one. Injured. Apparently, it's going to be several weeks. Right? Cornerback depth depleted as it is. So we'll see if it's Brandon Stevens playing the whole game on him or Pepe Williams. I'm kind of curious, and I'm not saying they're going to do this as far as this now, but I'm kind of curious to see what trying Kyle Hamilton out there. I don't know. I mean, he's been really good nickel. I don't know, playing him at full-time corner would be an idea, but I think that's just an idea I had. Curious, especially considering you don't have Marcus, and I might give that consideration. Grady Jarrett and Rashard Evans. So these are probably your two best defensive guys. Very solid group there. Grady Jarrett, big guy. Nothing like football when you have big, fat guys. Well, I don't want to say big, big, strong guys. Big guy. I always say big, fat. Like two of my favorite players, Ravens, were Tony Saragusa and Kelly Gray. I used to yell, like, "Look at that stomach!" When they were playing. That's kind of the Grady Jarrett. That's kind of what I see when I see him. Just big guy in the middle. Rashad Evans, outstanding, outstanding defensive linebacker for them. Very good job all season long, Rashad Evans. They don't have a really good defense, but I think these two guys would start on any team. Not a lot here in Atlanta. I think it's definitely building here. So the Ravens should have a victory, a game they need now that you're getting back. Lamar is back in this one. So yes, so you're gonna have Lamar in this game as well. What's going to be the case with Lamar? Is he going to go ahead and play? Are they going to have a bit of a leash on him? Are they going to do? Are they going to run the full game plan? Is he going to play the full game? Interesting to see what happens here with Lamar in this one. Because definitely you see Tyler Huntley the last few weeks. It's a question. I mentioned this already a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead again. Mention this guy a little bit and put it in. Brandon Stevens. I'll get correct here. You know they're not going to throw at Marlon Humphrey for sure with Peters out. So he's going to get the action. I don't know how good this quarterback is. So it may be somewhat moot in this one. Definitely next week when you play the Steelers, it'll be more moot. Definitely, certainly when you play Cincinnati and you get into the playoffs. See how fast Peters can get on back. And so that matters. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Oh, how will the Ravens do in this? They should win handily. There isn't a lot of offense or defense on this team. I think they're gritty. I think they got a lot of guts. They've been in a lot of close games. So that's a sign of a team that's really playing hard for their coach, whatever. Looking at the talent on this roster, they're playing a lot of young players. I mean, we just went over it. I mean, they're basically playing rookies, mid-round picks, Drake London, Desmond Ridder, mid-round quarterback, Grady Jarrett. They got a couple vets, but they're basically working with a lot of youth. So that matters in this. I think the Ravens should be motivated to win this game. The passing, everybody's going to talk about that. I don't know what more you do with passing than they've already done. They're not going to score a a lot of points going forward. They just don't have the personnel. So we'll get on that in a second here. But the score, I think the Ravens win by at least 17 points in this one. Also, too, one thing we missed not to mention, Tucker finally did have a bad game. I wouldn't worry about that one either. I mean, I cannot remember the last time. I was surprised when I think it was like 20. It's been 5 years since he missed 2 in a game. One was a 48-yarder, which was a surprise, at least for him. Most kickers that he missed, I think it was a 48-yard, 49, and one was blocked. So rarely you won't have that. Special teams wasn't good in the Browns game either. So keep that in mind as well. I think that contributed as well. Okay, so there you go. Oh, and so let's go ahead and check it again. Remember, Saturday is game day for that. So definitely check all the games out this weekend. I'm going to talk about this for the first time. I think way too much is made of this, but I'm going to explain it for everybody. Okay? Let's talk about Greg Roman. All right, so this week apparently there was in the facility that there was a fire Greg Roman thing floating around on the floor in the facility. All I've seen for years now is Greg Roman, get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him. I don't know why people think this. I'm going to use this. I'm going to scroll back a little bit to Joe Flacco. When Flacco was here, they had Gary Kubiak as coordinator, and I think Kyle Shanahan, 49ers coach, was a quarterback's coach. Why were they here? That was the best skill set for Joe Flacco, that type of offense to run. The Mike Shanahan, I call it the Mike Shanahan running version of the Bill Walsh, San Francisco offense. Best system for him. That's why you hire coordinators to go ahead and do this, to have the skill set of the QB. So the QB can be successful. So the offense can be successful. Let's go forward. So now Joe Flacco's gone. You have Lamar here. What does Lamar do? He's a runner, 4.2, 4.3 speed. They runs the ball really well. Throws the ball, read option, ran at college. What does he do? So what does he do? You get a Greg Roman. Emphasis on the run game, understands read option. You get a coordinator who understands Lamar's skill set. Same thing. Different type of quarterback, different type of offense. That's why Greg Roman is here. Okay? Greg Roman was considered also for a job at Stanford recently. He wound up not getting the gig. I think he didn't get the gig. He gave it to somebody else. So what were they looking to bring in just in case? I think this is what they were doing. Just in case Greg Roman actually leaves and takes the job, they were looking at Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart, former Florida State coach. What does he do? Read option, run the ball, similar to what Greg Roman would do. I think a lot of fans believe you get rid of Greg Roman and, oh, man, we're going to start. This is Harbaugh and the organization's decision to have an offense like this because they feel this is the best for Lamar, which is best for the offense. Okay? He's taking a lot of heat. For one, he's got no receivers. I've been saying that for many years now. Like their stubbornness not to get a receiver. I think Damian Woody said it's malpractice. I think that's saying a lot. The fact that you don't have receivers. And I understand. I think the thing that is on him, I think that is fair, is to getting the play in on time. You shouldn't be getting this many false starts and not getting the play. That's on you. But not exclusive to Greg Roman. So I'm not this part of it is not pro or against Greg Roman but I think people kind of don't think that Greg Roman is making all these decisions. Greg Roman is only there. I don't want to diminish him either, but Greg Roman is not there because he's making all these. I mean, this is an organizational decision. John Harbaugh makes this decision. He feels that a passing type guy, I'll just use one that's no longer around, like Mike Martz, is best for Lamar, where they run four wides and throw like everybody thinks they want. Then that's what you'll see. That's what this is. So he defended him. It's tough to defend somebody when you don't score any touchdowns, so you score 3 points. Their run offense is, I think, second in the NFL, the Ravens. That's what they want. I mean, whether Noise fans or whatever or not, that's what they want. So I think like all this Greg Roman stuff, they don't care. He's here for a reason. Greg is doing exactly what for the most part, what they're asking him to do. Make sure the run game is solid, and that's what he's done. So again, I just want to go over that, Greg Roman, because I've known that for a while, but everybody keeps getting rid of get rid of Greg Roman, get rid of Greg Roman, get rid of Greg Roman. I don't. And it might at the end of the year, he might take another job. He almost took a job at Stanford. He almost could. But I think like if you get rid of him, you're gonna get somebody like him. Unless they feel like Lamar is developed enough in the passing game to throw 30 times a game, and that's what But I don't think so. So there you go. That's my thought on Greg Roman. There. All right, so let's go to the Big Five, our larger NFL content. There you go. So 4-1 last week, 31 and 39, 39 and 31 for the year. This wasn't in Big Five, but that play in the Oakland game in New England is beyond stupid. Like, I don't know what in God's name they were doing. It was a tie game. Take a knee. Even to get to that point, to have a play at all, just take a knee. They're trying to do the hook and ladder. It's just ridiculous. Only thing I will say, I'm shocked that was a Belichick coach team did that. Like, that's the thing. Usually been the most disciplined group in the league. Off of this stupidity, let's go to the game. Big game Saturday, probably the biggest game on the schedule. The Eagles in first place. They're going to have to go without their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, against Dak Prescott and the Cowboys in the Jerry's world there. Dallas is going to go ahead. I think Dallas wins this game against the Eagles without Jalen Hurts. That's a huge loss for them. I don't think Dallas is that far behind the Eagles in terms of these are two of the better teams. I think like the thing with Dallas is I think Robert Griffin a few months ago said about the Ravens, like, it seems like you only talk about Dallas when they lose. Like, Dallas wins a lot of games. Dallas is really good. Prescott gets a lot of unnecessary. Prescott's pretty good. He's not. I wouldn't put him in the top 10, I wouldn't put him in top 5, but he's about top half. I mean, there aren't 15 better quarterbacks than Dak Prescott. He's got the. I don't get it sometimes. I don't. Quarterbacks get a lot of criticism, but I don't get it sometimes why these guys, why Dallas when they're clearly having such a good season, why he's still always just it's everything is his fault. They lost to a decent enough Jacksonville team. Closely, I like Dallas. Dallas is really good. I think they should win at home, especially if the Eagles don't have their quarterback. They're not going to have enough points. Seahawks fading a bit, going against the Chiefs. The Seahawks, I think they're coming back to earth a bit with a lot of these young players. They're still fighting. I think they possibly still get in a very, very weak NFC. The Chiefs is hard not to take them every week. I'll say this about the Chiefs. Defense isn't great. They're giving up a lot of points. They score a lot, no doubt, but they're giving up a lot of points, and they're going to face a very good run defense, a very good running team this week. So we'll see how they do against that. The key to beat the Chiefs, I think, is a Seattle type formula. The Titans like formula. Ravens did this one year. Keep away, and I think that's what you'll see. Run the ball a lot, run the ball effectively, keep Mahomes on the sideline. I think that can be a formula Seahawks can use to win. Oh, wow. Let's talk about the Bengals. Bengals now in first place over the Ravens in the North last week. Bengals look very good. Very good. Burrow is definitely in the MVP conversation. There are three receivers. I've been saying it for the last couple of years. Very, very good. Jamar Chase, I think, is the best receiver in the league. Probably maybe not as good this year as Justin Jefferson, but he's been really good. T. Higgins, I think, is a number one receiver on almost any other team without Jamar Chase on it or Justin Jefferson. I think the third receiver, Tyler Boyd, is a starter on any team in the league except him. Very, very good group of receivers. I think the line, too, is getting better. I think they're not getting hit as much. It's kind of rounding into form. I still don't love their defense. I think they're kind of still defense is a bit overrated. They really don't have great defensive performances. But I will say they don't need it with all this offense that they have. Even the backup running back, Petran, I think I don't want to pronounce. I think I'm pronouncing the first name. But he's very good. So this offense is great. Wow, New England. I don't even know what to say about what happened last week. New England is very average. I think their record is exactly right. I think they have a good defense. The defense is very good. I think Belichick's defenses over the years have been overstated, frankly, too often. This defense is very good. The defense didn't lose the game. Offensively, they're very challenged. Mac Jones is okay, but I think they haven't really given him anything. Their receivers are not really good, about average. Better than the Ravens, but their receivers aren't really good. They have a decent enough run game, but they don't score enough points. I think, though, I will say there's a lot of fight in them. I think there's a lot of discipline in them. I think this would be a very close victory for Cincinnati. I don't think that'll be a blowout at all, but I'll say it with a lot of intensity. It wouldn't shock me if New England actually was to win that game. I think New England gonna have a little bit of chip on their shoulder after that last game. The Giants, fresh off their victory Sunday night over the Vikings. I thought that was the best the Giants have looked all year. And I've been hard on them because I think their record's a bit of a fluke, but I think I think I was fairly impressed with the defense out there. Thibodeau, I think, is key in Thibodeau. Their rookie defensive tackle is really developing. I was very impressed with that. I think their run game is really legit. Saquon Barkley is outstanding. I think the defense is decent enough. Minnesota, that game was also crazy on Saturday. They were down 33-0 and come back and win. That tells you how good their offense is. I think had this not be Kirk Cousins, everybody would be talking about. Had it not been Kirk Cousins, rather, everybody would be talking about how good their offense is. But God forbid say anything good about Kirk Cousins. Very impressive, their offense. A lot of weapons, and they score a lot of points. I think they'll score too much for I don't think the Giants. One of the reasons I don't like it, when you have a team like Minnesota, they're gonna horse race them. I think a little bit. They're gonna score too many points and beat them. Commanders still in the playoff fight, going against the 49ers. Brock Purdy, like saying that, third quarterback this year. How is a team on their third quarterback and still the favorites in the NFC in a lot of eyes? You do it when you have everything else. You have Christian McCaffrey, you have George Kittle, Debo did get injured. Their defense is fantastic. This is an excellent defense they have. I think it's probably right up there with the Bills for the best defense in the NFL. Very, very good. Um, the Commanders, I think, like, they're a little bit like the Giants. They're playing over the heads a bit. I think I don't know what to think of Ron Rivera as a coach. He says good things. Then he says something silly, and then his teams kind of reflect that. Bit inconsistent, but 8-8, 8-9 might get you in the playoffs this year. So we'll see. I like the Niners in this one. They seem to not. It seems to not be affecting them. Also, to not having the quarterback in the game. So that's a very good sign for them that they can go ahead and go forward. So there you go, Big Five. So enjoy all the games. The games are on Saturday this week as well. So Saturday and Sunday as well. So keep in mind that Saturday, because I don't think a lot of fans are used to that, like lining up on Sunday. So, but this is the week of Christmas, so you will see games on Saturday. All right. So we're gonna go switch to, let's see. Let's do this first. Let's do what we haven't done yet this year. Let's talk a little Maryland basketball. All right. So let's talk Terps. Okay. So Maryland, the football season is essentially over. We'll go over that bowl game against North Carolina State. We'll go ahead and talk about that next week because the game is that week. But we'll talk a little Maryland basketball. The Terps are now, I think, not in the top 25. I think I looked at it earlier and they were 20. If they had a poll of 26, Maryland would be 26. I think they were the highest vote getter, not in the top 25. So they were 26 years old. So they were 26 ranked. If they had 30 poll, they had the 26 amount of votes. I think Maryland has really underachieved overall since they've been in the Big Ten. The football thing, I think they've been overmatched for a while. They're going to be overmatched for a while. I don't think they're anywhere near in the stratosphere of the three main schools there in the Big Ten. And maybe you got one more coming, USC. But you have Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. You're just far, far, far behind. In basketball, I don't think you're far behind anybody. The way I always saw it was it would have benefited them to be in the Big Ten because now the opposite happened. Now you're away from Duke and North Carolina and you're in the Big Ten where you're more competitive. They've been competitive, but they really haven't won the big game at the end. They haven't really been at the top of the conference consistently like they had hoped. They looked at, okay, you go to Big Ten and you're more of a dominant school because it's a basketball school. Maryland is a basketball school, not a football school, traditionally. So Mark Turgeon goes last year. He quits because they kept booing him. If he didn't get, I don't know if he got fired, but they were booing him at home. They were losing. They got rid of him. He really didn't have any NCAA tournament success, so they go out and get him a coach. Kevin Willard is the coach now at Maryland. So what about Kevin Willard? So he has really his best season at Seton Hall, 2019-2013. Really good Seton Hall team, but there was no tournament that year. So they really didn't go to the tournament because the pandemic canceled the tournament. So we never really found out if that team could have went deep into the NCAAs after that. Seton Hall was bad before they got there. He goes ahead, turns it around. First couple of years, if you look at it, not very good. He goes, turns it around. Same in Iona when he was there. Bad first couple of years, and he turns around and got the job at Seton Hall. Now he's at Maryland trying to turn that around. Didn't have a top 10 recruiting class. That went to Ohio State, and they had like 5 Big Ten top basketball recruits, college basketball recruits. Illinois, Michigan, I think also a good recruiting class. And also, he's fighting the fact that Purdue is number one in the country. They're one of the few teams without a loss. Maryland, I think, matches up pretty good with those teams in the conference. I don't think there's like the football thing where they're so far away with that. These are some of the guys here. Jameer Young reminds me a lot of Miller Trumbull, that point-ish guard, the scoring-ish point guard. Good off the dribble, shoots the ball well, handles well, and he's basically their point forward out there. Dante Scott, again, 13.9 points a game. The senior guy, lots of experience. He's kind of the two guy in terms of scoring. And I think I have the name incorrect. It's Reese Julian Reese actually is right. He's their leading rebounder, 17.5. 11.2 points, 7.5 rebounds a game. They look like a typical Maryland team so far. When I've seen them these last couple games, they don't look that much different than a Maryland team that I've seen before. The college ball now is so guard-centric at all levels. I remember a time where the advantage that bigger schools had was they had centers, things like that. All these teams now, they shoot the three. They're very guard-centric. I think that's why there's no dominant team at all. There's almost no way to call it how this is going to go for them. I would say, though, they're very good. They're going to be very competitive. This season, they lost their most recent game to UCLA. They got a game, I think, tomorrow, as I'm recording this, rather, against St. Peter's. So it kind of eases up. College basketball as a whole, I've seen, too. A lot of there's only two teams with no loss, Purdue and UConn. Like, we're not even at Christmas yet. So that tells you about the parity that's going on in college basketball. So Maryland definitely has a chance to win the Big Ten and go all the way to the NCAA tournament and beyond. You just got to put together a good string of games. I think that's very important in college basketball. It's so evenly spread out, even in their conference. I don't think there's much difference between Illinois as it is Purdue, as it is Wisconsin, as it is Michigan. Michigan State seems to be down a little bit for their standards. Probably the best team historically. So Kevin Willard is going to get a shot at it. Whether Mark Turgeon should have been fired, fans didn't want him. I wasn't as big on Gary Williams as a lot of fans were. A lot of fans, believe it or not, it's almost sacrilegious to say this. They didn't like it until he actually won the actual title. I mean, you heard the same thing about Gary Williams. Any kind of when he won the national title with Ron Dixon and those guys, then they kind of had to stop doing that because he actually won. So definitely, we're going to check out the Terps here as they go march to the NCAAs and see if they can go ahead and become the team to actually go ahead and win the title. This team, unlike football, has a chance as anybody to win the title. I really believe that. I think any of the teams in the top 25 can wind up as 10, as 9. There's really not much separating a lot of these teams in college basketball. So we'll check it out again here as the season goes and talk more Terps as we get into more specific big matchups, especially if they're playing Purdue, and we're really looking forward to that and the other top 25 matchups that they have. All right. So baseball, let's go to that. There is a lot to talk about there. There absolutely is. Let's take a look at some of these deals. Seeing in baseball, Joey Gallo, 1 year, $11 million. He went ahead and signed with Minnesota. A lot of fans wanted Noah Syndergaard, 1 year, $15 million with the Dodgers. Good acquisition for them. Dansby Swanson was the last of the big free agents, I think, at the shortstop. He signs with the Cubs, 7 years, $177 million. Good signing. I think the Braves were going to move on. They, of course, always have a young shortstop to bring up. So I think that's what happened. Correa, a little drama today, yesterday. It was done that he signed with the Giants for $350. Apparently, something happened with the physical, and now he's with the Mets. So he took 13 years, $310. What a bargain compared to the $350. So he's going to be with the Mets. Mets have spent a ton of, my goodness, really going for it there. Yankees, not to be outdone, signed Carlos Rodon, 6 years, $162 million. Rodon, to me, was easily the best free agent acquisition. Youngest one, several years in 10. Good acquisition for them. And White Sox signed Yankees and Andrew Benintendi, former greatest young player that was supposed to be. White Sox signed him. White Sox getting the game a little bit. 5 years, $75 million. Sneaky good signing. Very good as well. Orioles make a signing as well. Michael Givens returns, 3 years, $3 million. Option for next year, $6 million. Good luck getting that, the mutual option. 1 year, $3 million. Decent acquisition, Michael Givens. I actually liked him before for the Orioles. So I think he did. This is pretty good that he signs with them. So I think it's a good acquisition for the Orioles. All right. So what we're going to do here, we're going to stop, and we're going to do a part 2 because we're going to get to more Orioles. We're about at the 50-minute mark here. So I want to go ahead and stop streaming, and we'll go ahead and get a part 2 of this. We're going to talk about, Mike Elias. I got to talk about what he said on the MLB interview. Got to talk about that. And we're going to go over the Orioles depth chart. So we're going to go over that real soon.